Okay, I think we are live and recording. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining the session. This is the Digital Health and Discovery Platform, DHDP Digital Health Innovation Fund. I am the I'm Ashley, the program manager and partnership developer. We have lots of team members on the call today, and we're just going to go through a brief slide deck and support for preparation for the letter of intent submissions, and then we'll go into Q&A right after. Of course, we can always follow up via email and other channels after. So we will have the Q&A leveraging, if you look at the top of your screen, you should see a Q&A button, and we'll open that up when we finish the slide deck. So keep your questions on hand until we open that up. And I'll hand it over to you, Alejandro.
Hello, everyone. Well, this is Alejandro. I think I have been in contact with many of you via email, and it's great to connect with you today. The agenda for today, first, we're going to be talking about matchmaking, then preparation for LOI submission. Then we are going to be talking about technology with preparation for LOI submission. And the HTTP data commons, and then we'll have 15 to 20 minutes for questions and answers, okay? Thank you, Ashley. So I'd like to take a couple of minutes to speak a little bit about matchmaking, which is a key part of the DHIF process. As you know, each project team must include at least 2 Canadian SMEs and have access to data needed to carry out their proposed project. Matchmaking is designed to help project teams meet those requirements, but it's not limited only to that. It is also an opportunity to find valuable collaboration beyond the minimum, whether that is an AI partner, an organization with a specialized data analysis expertise, or data provider with access to the type of information needed to strengthen your project. To support this process, we have created a matchmaking assistant tool that is a spreadsheet where applicants can share information about their organization and indicate what kind of partners they are looking for. This tool remains available now. And if you would like to have access to this tool, please contact me at thtp@tfri.ca or my personal email, because you're going to receive the invitation from my personal email, atapia@tfri.ca, as you see in the slide. Once in the matchmaking pool, you can use filters such as category, disease domain, and access to data to identify potential partners that align with your needs. In addition, we are fortunate to be working with our partner MedTech, who are playing a key role in supporting matchmaking efforts. On a case-by-case basis, they can provide more targeted assistance to connect applicants with suitable collaborators across the network. With that, I'd like to introduce Marc Olivier from MedTech, who will provide a little explanation of how his team can support you as you form your project partnerships. Marc Olivier, over to you.
Thank you, Alejandro. So nice to meet you all. I see a lot of names that we already met in the past couple of weeks. So MedTech Plus is we're an industrial consortium based in Quebec, operating across Canada through different funding programs, and we're supporting the DHDP initiative by at different stage. This stage of the LOI, we're meeting many of you that requested assistance. We're trying to understand your needs in terms of matchmaking, make sure your project is also on scope with what is required from this call for proposal. And by scoping out your project, understanding who you are and what are your needs in terms of partnership, we can go back and introduce your initiative to different partners also in that pool of applicants, and we try to facilitate those meetings, accompany those introduction and those meetings to make sure you're all aligned on the same scope of project that is admissible for the DHEP. So feel free to reach out to us if you have not done so already. Our goal is really to help you through that process. There's that tool that Alejandro talked to you about, but sometimes talking with an institution like Medtech Plus to help you figure out the best way to approach that is a good way to make sure you're ready for that first LOI application on September 15th. So glad to meet you all. I'll pass the ball right back.
Thank you. I can move forward to the next slide. So just in preparation for your LOI, I really do recommend reaching out to Alejandro to get in touch with Marc Olivier for the one-to-one sessions to support with the drafting of your LOI, and also referring to the LOI checklist as a source of truth or a main resource for your preparation. It is posted on the Digital Health Innovation Fund webpage. I highly recommend bookmarking this for the key dates, the documents, the resources, and using that LOI checklist to prepare for submission on Terry Fox track. And on the website, the same Digital Health Innovation Fund webpage, you will be able to now see an Apply Here button since August 15th, as well as a user guide, bilingual handbook, and the user guide also available in French. And that way you can use the checklist to ensure you have all the documents ready. That includes the populated LOI template, the LOI budget template, the network member agreement, selecting someone as a designated person to submit on Terry Fox track. And I'm not recalling if there is one or two other things, but anyhow, I do recommend, do highly recommend looking at that LOI checklist. And with that, I will pass it to you, Ethan, for the technology vision and strategy.
Thanks, Ashley. So before jumping in this slide, I just want to rehash the fact that the HDP is funded by ISED, and our vision is to be a trusted national healthcare network to enable secure collaborations, responsible data sharing, and accelerated discovery that improve patient outcome across Canada, but also for researcher to bring about new innovation to this space. So in terms of technology vision and strategy, the original piece was that we were mandated by ISED with 3 named partners. So Candic, who operates out of UHN, is the data ingestion partner. Bitnomi in my end is the user policy, so who access to what for how long. And then Integrate AI is our federated learning partner. Of course, in working through this, we've enhanced our vision and sort of expanded it as well. So something called the data commons. So think of it as a data marketplace where you can go on, search for a specific cohort of patient and see what type of data exists across the DHDP network. Now, the difference between the data commons and what we have a built-in solution through Candic for data discovery is that because we're talking about academic research and industry, industry collaborators have different data sets. And that's where we're hoping to link the different type of data. So among you all with your expression of interest, there are people who have wearable data, who have metabolites data, insurance data, pharmaceutical data, patient support programs, things like that. So this is where the data common will allow that discovery of the different data set that exists within the DHDP network. And further more, we want to enhance the fact that with a lot of discussion, we found out that there are new ways or new requirement in collaboration with industry partners. So we're looking at something called synthetic data, which allows for collaboration, but in a secure environment and not the next solution, which is a secure enclave. The difference between the two is that, as you're aware, data exists in institution, and if you want to partner or collaborate with industry partner, the data cannot be actual raw data because of the privacy concern and the security behind it. So that's where synthetic data probably will enable that collaboration to a certain extent. But ultimately, the idea is to share raw data, and this is where the secure enclaves comes in. That's another strategy that we hope to put in place in the next couple of months as well. Next, please. The HDP solution that I mentioned is based on international standard. We selected the OMOP standard, which is an internationally recognized standard out of OHDSI. So that is one of the requirement to ensure that our data is ready to be used. Among that as well, in the data roadmap, we're looking to leverage multimodal data sets. So we're not talking about just EMR, clinical, but also genomic imaging and all the other data set that I mentioned before from the industry side. Of course, the trifecta for the HDP is the fact that we have the Terry Fox name, we have the Terry Fox Research Network, and we are funded by ISED. So this really helps brings about a neutral third party who's able to bridge that and foster that collaboration between academic research and industry. Next. Of course, I mentioned before, the core functionality for the HDP or the ultimate goal is to allow federated learning, data sharing, but also building a platform that privacy by design and secure for collaboration with external partners. We're based on the FAIR principle, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And also we're looking to leverage new technologies such as the Flower AI framework. I think that's it for me.
Thanks, Ethan. So I think we can open up the Q&A, and I did already see one question from Tara, which I can answer right now. And the DHCP network member agreement, it was sent out in a mass email to the EOI respondents, but if you would like, if you need to obtain a copy, feel free to email dhdp@tfri.ca, and the partially signed agreements will be uploaded on Terry Fox Track, so you will be prompted on the system as a mandatory field. I also did see a message from Saba in, I believe, the Teams chat. I'm wondering, maybe Saba, if it's all right for us to unmute you and we hear your question verbally.
From what I read, Ashley, maybe you could explain a bit about how the funding is going to work for the CIF funding for this RFA.
Yeah, absolutely. I can give a brief overview on the reimbursement model, and then Saba will unmute you. And we have received quite a few questions on how it works. DHDP is not a grant. We, as per our funder, ISED, we operate on a reimbursement model, meaning that the total project cost would be reimbursed the anticipated 20 to 25%, though you are able to combine this fund with other government assistance. Industry side, they can combine up until 75% of the total project cost that they incur, and then the academic / healthcare collaborators, they can stack up to 100%, meaning they can combine with other grants, that given that those grants are eligible to be combined. Another aspect of the reimbursement model is the project selected, they would not receive the funding up front. So for example, if the project were selected, January 2026 comes around, the project would not be receiving few millions up front. There would be 3 months of work carried out for the first quarter, and then timesheets, invoices, the backup documentation for the work carried out would be submitted. and it would go through an internal review process with TFRI, and then also a review with our ISED funder before the funds are reimbursed back to the applicant. And with that, I will find Saba. I don't see.
I think I already allow him to use the microphone.
Okay. Are you able to unmute Saba? Oh, not allowed.
Can you please try now again?
Yeah.
Of the total project cost that they incur, and then the academic / healthcare collaborators, they can stack up to 100%, meaning they can combine with other grants, that given that those grants are eligible to be combined. Another aspect of the reimbursement model is the project selected, they would not receive the funding upfront. So for example, if the project were selected, January 2026 comes around, the project would not be receiving few millions upfront. There would be 3 months of work carried out for the first quarter, and then timesheets, invoices, the backup documentation for the work carried out would be submitted, and it would go through an internal review process with TFRI, and then also a review with our ISED funder before the funds are reimbursed back to the applicant. And with that, I will find Saba. I don't see.
I think I already allow him to use the microphone.
Okay. Are you able to unmute Saba? Oh, not allowed.
Can you please try now again?
Yeah. Sorry, it might be a little bit louder than in school. Yeah, I think is the minimum amount then 1 million? Because that's a little bit too much for like small to medium sized organizations.
There is no minimum or maximum. The opportunity is actually quite flexible, aside from the eligibility that Alejandro went over earlier. So you can post forth the budget that makes the most sense given the project team. If it's a little bit under 1 million, that's no problem. we do have the $25 million funding pot, so we put $1 to $7 million as a proxy for the projects that we anticipate.
Yeah, I think if I'm understanding it, then this might not be a good fit for me because my situation is super odd. So I'm doing a startup outside of my PhD. I was doing my PhD part-time. So because I'm part-time, I'm not funded, I self-fund. And I just recently switched to full-time and my prof doesn't have any funding. So we're gonna apply for funding during the next couple of months since I'm just finishing my exam. And I got Camino, which is a nonprofit organization that provides mental health care to folks, to partner with us.
Yeah, in that sense, maybe you're right. It doesn't. Oh, I think you're frozen. Not sure.
Sorry, I think it's disconnected. But it's just that basically there's no money to put a lot up front per se. So I'm thinking, is it like either I need to step out of this or like this because it's not a good fit, or do you suggest me to still continue and like look for another partner who potentially has the money that maybe we could use?
So there's two ways to approach that. First of all, you can look for a co-funding opportunity. I don't know in which province you are, but there's some opportunity there. But something is for sure, the SIF projects are for companies that have a strong financial capacity to engage in that reimbursement process. So you need to be able to put the cost up front. The delay to get reimbursed is not instantaneous, so you need a company with enough people on the payroll, enough financial capacity to survive that reimbursement ratio. That is still only 20 to 25%. So maybe at the stage of an early startup, if you're not actually paying your employees, it's a bit too early to jump into a SIF project.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you. You answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do see some of the next questions in the Q&A. One I'll defer to Ethan. Is mouse data fine, or is it recommended for human data?
That's a good question. I don't really have an answer, but I would assume that at this point we would look for human data so that we can maximize the collaboration between partners.
And I also see another question from the same person. How much percent is provided by Terry Fox? Currently, we are providing the Digital Health Innovation Fund, which is why I can't speak to if there's any additional amount. We kind of put the onus on the applicant to ensure that the other funds combined with this Digital Health Innovation Fund is eligible for the stacking or combining. And for the next question, to confirm that we would have to pay back 20 to 25%, it is actually the opposite. So the reimbursed amount is the 20 to 25%, meaning that the 75% would actually be coming from the applicant. Ask if we need matchmaking, are we required to do it before submitting the EOI, or can we do it afterwards? Great question. I highly recommend submitting an expression of interest because this is how we keep engaged with those interested in the fund, and that way Alejandro can get you set up onto the matchmaking pool as well as get you in touch with the MedTech Plus team.
But for the LOI submission, just not confuse EOI and LOI. The LOI submission on September 15, you will need to have your fully team form at that stage.
Exactly. Thank you. And we do ask in the LOI template for the registered business number, just as a heads up. Okay, next question. Flower AI framework was one of the best practices identified in a slide. Could you further elaborate on this particular framework, please? Then you have you would be the best person to answer that.
Yeah, so Flower, I actually replied to those that questions already, but it's very flexible and um, scalable. It allows for a variety of framework as well, so you're not limited. And this is where we want to focus our findings to ensure that anyone out there is not restricted to a specific AI framework, but rather you can program in any language that you want, and it would work. So, and of course, if you want to see what we have, you can read up on the flower.ai website, or you can test out our sandbox environment, which are one of our MVP is up, and this one is the flower-based solution that we have in place. So please have fun with that and let us know your thoughts as well.
Thanks, Ethan. And next question, how much technical details do we need to include at the point of LOI, given that some solutions might be defined during the R&D and development process? Also, great question. Any information that you have at the LOI stage that's great to include. There is a 10-page limit on the LOI template, so I would say it's rather high level, focused on the scope alignment and the full application. That's where you can flesh out more details. But of course, it's up to you and the project team what you think is best for a compelling LOI. Could you please expand on if the DHIF is being treated as a one-time challenge versus an annual reoccurring fund that is available each year? DHDP actually will have a short runway, and we are treating this as a one-time funding call, though the success of this funding call could transpire into longer term if things go well, but there is no guarantee. Okay, I'm just loading more questions here. For the DHCP platform, where can I find detailed technical specifications on its AI capabilities? We have on the Digital Health Innovation Fund webpage a supporting document section, which mainly goes over the technology. It is more so high-level functionalities, so I think the Flower AI framework, you can look there for more, but also Ethan, let me know if I missed anything in response to that
No,
question.
no, and that's it. The idea is if you can read the flower.ai website, you'll see a lot of information and the functionality that they have, and we are putting forward those functionality. It's just that at this point we're limited, so the sandbox will only show you a few things. But as we progress in the next few weeks or month, we'll be able to show you the full solution that we have. Of course, there's going to be additional functionality coming out by January as well. So a lot of interesting development going in the next couple of weeks.
And for the next question, for early stage health tech ventures, what does DHDP consider the most important milestones to demonstrate in order to unlock the next stage of funding and support? So we cannot guarantee extended funding and support. The DHCP does have a project completion date in March 2027. However, some milestones that I could foresee is it could vary project to project depending on if it's focused on, for example, data science application versus the machine learning and the federated learning. I see kind of a common ground with onboarding the data to the platform and using the platform functionalities to discover, prepare, and analyze the data. As for the next question, for Friday LOI feedback, how long can we expect to get feedback? We'll try and get back to you as soon as possible, so you have enough time, or at least few days before the LOI submission date. In terms of the IP and commercialization requirements, in what ways or forms that we can show that our proposal meets the requirements. For the LOI stage, if you can respond to the prompts on the LOI, that's what we're looking for there, and then again fleshing it out into the full application proposal. Matchmaking is a critical issue. ML specialists and data owners belong to two different worlds. Yes, I agree, and that's why we're offering the matchmaking support as well as MedTech Plus. So please, if you're experiencing issues with matchmaking, let us know, and we'll try and support as much as possible. I'm a co-founder of a company leading a the application. The technology for the company comes from my academic lab at SIGKids, where we hold multiple grants. Can these grants be incorporated as part of the DHDP budget? I definitely would recommend speaking with those that oversee the grants to check if it's eligible to be combined with DHDP. From our side, the Digital Health Innovation Fund, it can be combined with any other federal, provincial, municipal assistance. So as long as those grants are eligible to be stacked, then that should be a positive sign for your budget. How about standard human cells such as HEK cells? I think this is in relation to the mouse data question. I'm not sure, Ethan, maybe you have a better answer than I do for the question from Anuj about how about standard human cells such as HEK cells?
Good question. I can't really reply. I'll have to find out with the team and find out what's standard are we talking about, or maybe Anush, if you can give me your email address, I'll connect with you after.
And next
You'll need
question.
to unlock your iPhone first.
Oh, sorry about that. Next question, Ethan, I think this is also one for you. Can we test out the platform prior to submitting the LOI?
Yes, so I replied there are two MVPs. However, right now on the sandbox, we have the Flower MVP up. This Flower MVP will show the how you can work with the federated learning with the different with different algorithm, but or models. However, given that Flower also allow for programming your own algorithm, we will look at enabling that function at a later date. But at this point, there's a couple test data set that you can run and also an imaging data set, I believe. So you can play and see how that works out. But more functionality and features to come in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, and I just responded to the next one in the chat, similar to one of the questions before. I work a lot with wearable data, and I'm trying to understand how it might fit within the Digital Health Innovation Fund. Are funded projects primarily intended for researchers to formulate new research questions using existing data sets on the platform, or are they focused on contributing new data sets to the DHDP, combining them with existing data?
But that would be both, if my answer. We're hoping to expand collaboration between academic research and industry. So we're looking to enable that collaboration. So whether you formulate new research questions or you want to contribute the data set so that they can combine with existing data set, we're open to all that. And the idea is to connect all those data sets in, I guess, in the future to make sure that we can trace a patient journey across the different health platforms, if I can call it that way. and to leverage the different data set that exists out there as well.
And next question, where is the DHCP platform currently deployed, or what data is connected to the platform? You're on mute, Ethan.
Sorry, like I mentioned before, the sandbox environment is currently deployed. I'm sure you've received the link where the sandbox is. If not, we can paste it onto the chat, but it's just a test environment at this point. So it's built for user by users. So we're trying to get more information on what functionality that you might require and what type of potential you can add to this platform. So right now, the sample data are available in the sandbox environment for you to test. It all include, I believe, EMR clinical genomics and imaging as well.
And I just responded to the next question in the chat, unrelated to the Digital Health Innovation Fund. For the next question, is the maximum project time 12 months, and what is the latest the project can end? Is it December 2027 or March 2027? It would be March 2027, meaning if the project starts January 2026, which is what we're very much hoping to have our projects launch in January 2026, and that way they can go up until March 2027. I believe that's 15 months.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that don't worry about the timeline. We are actually looking at extending the timeline as well. So there's going to be an update in the next couple of months as in terms of how we can extend that timeline with ISED.
And next question, commonly, I know we are a bit over time, so we can hang on for a few more minutes, and then, of course, feel free to email the dhdp@tfri.ca or connect with us directly. So just a few more questions. Commonly, data owners are non-IT entities. So I don't know this is necessarily a question, but Riaz, feel free to email us after the call. Russ Anthony, for Friday's LOI feedback, do we just apply upload or our working version of the LOI on the platform, or is there another process? You can actually submit via Terry Fox Track if you click the Apply Now button. Then it'll take you to the Terry Fox Track website. You'll be able to register for a new organization and then start your application. And within Terry Fox Track, it has an option to click Request Feedback, and the applications that are submitted by September 5th with that request feedback button checked off, we will provide feedback for. Can we use Flower AI for the model development? Is it a mandatory requirement?
No, so Flower allows you to program in any languages that you are comfortable with. So you don't have to use Flower, but Flower will allow you to input that code in and run your algorithm with Flower.
Okay, I don't see any more questions, although I'm sure there's more. So feel free to contact us via dhdp at tfri.ca. We also have our socials on the screen, and all of the expression of interest respondents, as usual, we'll be sending out a mass email following this meeting, so you're able to contact us and also have these slides on file. And one question, okay, these are with regard to registering for the sandbox. So I think we can end the meeting there. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and also thank you to MedTech Plus, Mark Olivier, for joining the call as well.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.